afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world today. Thanks for joining me. My name is Alex Tapia. I'm the president and founder of Aviation Retirement Strategies, and we're coming at you from our national headquarters here at the George Bush Intercontinental Airport here in Houston, Texas. Welcome to the Pilot Money Podcast. Today, we're going to be covering the Southwest Airlines new contract that was recently ratified back in early April, and I want to cover some of the high-level parts of this contract that pertain to your financial situation and some of the new benefits that you guys have, which are absolutely phenomenal. First of all, I want to congratulate you on a great contract. This is by far the best contract that the pilots of Southwest Airlines have ever had. It's up to par with Delta Airlines, American Airlines, and United Airlines, which also recently ratified their contracts earlier this year. And so congratulations on that. So let's go ahead and cover some of the financial highlights of this in terms of some of the changes that have been made that are actually more beneficial to you. But I wanted to explain to them from a 35,000-foot view as to what they are and how they work from a very basic level. So let's go ahead and get started. Of course, if you have any questions after and you about your particular situation for you and your family as to how they particularly apply to you, I'm, of course, happy to help in any way that we can, as always. So once again, congratulations, but let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let's start with the ratification bonus. Now, as you know, when you guys signed the contract and ratified this contract, the company gave you a bonus. And what makes this bonus a little bit different than opposed to what United Airlines gets or American, even Delta, is that your entire bonus is eligible to be put into your 401k. In other words, you can tax defer the entire bonus versus getting it paid out, where you actually have to pay taxes on it in the current year, like you would with any other regular paycheck. So that means that the 15% of the non-elective employee compensation, or the NEC, can go directly into your 401k. Now, why would you want to do this? Well, first of all, at the tax rates that most of the pilots are in, it's a pretty high tax rate. So that means that you are paying a lot of taxes throughout the year. Now, the fact that you're getting a bonus and you can put it into your 401k, just like any other 401k contributions, is not going to be counted as income in the current year. Now, this money is going to go into the 401k on a pre-tax basis, and you'll have to pay taxes on it when you retire, when you eventually take the distribution, when you're in retirement, and we can talk about that another day. But basically, currently, you're not going to be paying tax on it, which is highly beneficial, and that's a little bit different than the other airlines, where a lot of them got taxed when they got their ratification bonus. Now, one thing that does challenge that this does bring up is the fact that your 401k, as you know, it has a limit as to how much you can contribute. Now you can contribute, up to a certain amount. It goes up each individual year, and then you have a contribution limit, and then also the company has a contribution limit. So by putting the 15% of the non-elective employee compensation into the 401k, you are running the risk of maxing out your 401k, and any company contributions that go into your plan after that are going to run the risk of potentially limiting out, which is what we call the 415 limit. So you have to be kind of careful as to your contribution, at least to be aware of how much you're contributing and where you are. Now, the one good thing about it is that this contract did allow for limiting out these what we call the 415 limit, which is the overall limit of the limit that you can contribute versus what the company can contribute. So that's a combined limit. Now, the new contract does make a provision for it called the market-based cash balance plan, which is basically money that can spill over into another plan that's tax deferred versus you having to pay taxes on it after getting after-tax money after you limit out these plans, which is highly beneficial. And we're going to cover that another time as well. And we've actually done a few months ago. We did a video on the market-based cash balance plan explaining exactly how it works, but that's basically going to be the tool for you at Southwest Airlines, where anything after you've limited out, that the money can go into the market-based cash balance plan, and which is highly beneficial for you. But one thing is, at least with the bonus, you did not have to pay taxes on it this year, which is highly beneficial for you. And I would say that's probably one of the main distinguishing parts of the contract, where other airlines actually had to pay taxes on this money. So that's a great thing for Southwest Pilots. And by now, you should have seen that in your coming in to your 401k as of the beginning of April sometime. From a life insurance perspective, there's been a couple of basic changes to the contract as well, which is also more beneficial than what it used to be for all the Southwest pilots. With the new contract, there is an $800,000 policy that's basically paid for by the company that you guys now have by default that you don't necessarily have to pay for. This is a significant improvement compared to what you guys used to have. And so now, regardless of who you are, where you are in the company, where you are in the seniority list, you actually have an $800,000 policy that is paid to you for the company. And one of the changes as well that's pretty significant also, which was not part of the previous contract, is that if you are on disability, the company will continue paying your life insurance for you as if you are a full-time employee on the seniority roster. But then that's a pretty significant change from the previous contract. Now, in terms of the company paying for things for you, just like when you travel and all those things like that, when you get discounts and basically you get a financial benefit from the company has to report to the IRS the benefit that you're getting. And the life insurance really is no different. So for all of you, any amount that the company pays for over $50,000 is going to be reported as a line item to you as imputed taxes. So that means that you're going to have to pay taxes on this particular benefit. You don't have to pay for the benefit, but you do have to pay for the taxes for it, which is a pretty standard thing for something like this, for a benefit that this company provided that is a financial benefit. It's pretty standard across the board for you to have to pay your imputed taxes. So you're going to be seeing a line item on your paycheck or however they report it, of the actual line item of the imputed taxes that you have to pay for the life insurance. Now, as you get older, you don't necessarily have to have $800,000 of life insurance. You can also elect to how much you want below that, because it's sometimes, there comes a point in time we don't necessarily need insurance. Not everybody has to have life insurance because it all depends on your debt and your particular individual situation. So as you get older, or if you get to the point where you feel like you don't need the life insurance, you are also able to bring that part of it down, meaning that you have to pay less taxes on a benefit, the financial benefit that's provided for you by the company that you may not necessarily need. If you have a question about that, how that applies to you, if in fact you need life insurance, or if you don't, you do, whatever it is for you, feel free to give us a call. We can do that analysis for you. We do it all the time. And you'd be surprised that not everybody really needs the life insurance because of the other things that you might have going on in your life, especially as a Southwest pilot with the amazing benefits that you guys have. Okay, so let's talk about the market-based cash balance plans. The market-based cash balance plans are something that's fairly new. Most people don't really know what they are. Most pilots are not necessarily familiar with them. And they kind of got brought into the picture by Delta Airlines when they first negotiated contract. And they, as you remember, last year, they were the first ones to come up with these great contracts that were very robust, and they introduced what's called the market-based cash balance plan, which is basically an answer to an old pension plan. It's a new modernized version of a pension plan where the money that's in it actually belongs to you, unlike a traditional pension plan like we used to have that ended up getting defaulted on by the airlines through the PBGC and all that mess back then, including my airline, U.S. Airways, that defaulted on their pension plan. The market-based cash balance plan is not subject to something like that because any money that's contributed to it actually belongs to you from day one. There's no vesting period required. Whatever is in there is actually your money. It does not belong to the airline, nor is it controlled by the airline in terms of when you get the benefit when you're in retirement and things like that. So it's a very beneficial plan to have, and every airline, when they implement it, has a slightly different twist to it. Now, it's important to note that as of today, when you're watching this video, this plan is actually not yet approved by the IRS. The IRS actually has to approve this plan for the airline, and not just Southwest Airlines, but for every company really that implements a plan like this. So it has not yet been approved. So what the company is doing is they are going to start contributing to this plan for you. But for now, because the plan technically does not really exist yet, they're putting the money aside so that whenever the plan actually gets put into place and approved by the IRS, they're going to go ahead and fund this for you. So you are getting the benefit, even though technically the plan does not really exist yet. Now, what makes the plan a little bit unique to Southwest Airlines is the fact that Southwest will contribute 1% of your all your eligible income to this new market-based cash balance plan, up to $345,000 for the year of 2024, which is basically the IRS income limit for qualified plans. And the market-based cash balance plan is what we call a qualified plan because it qualifies on the IRS tax code to be treated tax favorably. But in January of 2026, they're actually going to be doubling that amount to 2%, which is a significant benefit. So whatever they're going to contribute up to, whatever the limits are, in 2026, that's actually going to double moving forward. So you're going to get 2% of all your eligible compensation. Now, what makes this a little bit restrictive and is going to require a little bit of planning, and of course we're happy to help you do this, is that the company will only contribute, regardless of what your situation is, up to the point where you make $345,000. So if you are contributing to your 401k and you max out your limit, you are going to the company is going to continue to put money into this plan, even though you have actually hit all the IRS limits, which is the whole purpose of the market-based cash balance plan. But if you do not hit your limits, if you don't contribute to your 401k, once you make $345,000, the company is not going to put any more money into the plan, regardless of what you're contributing to the 401k. So I think it may be beneficial to initially try to max out the 401k as much as possible, get as much pre-tax money into these plans as quickly as possible, so that the company will continue to contribute their whatever they're contributing, depending on the year that you're in, up to $345,000 or whatever the income limit is that year, so that way you can maximize the pre-tax benefit that you're getting from the company from all of these plans. So that's going to require a little bit of planning, a little bit of cash flow planning. Obviously, depending on how much you can contribute to your 401k, depends on your own particular cash flow situation. So everybody's a little bit different. So we can certainly help plan that out for you. And also, it's important to note that the company will not contribute any more beyond the compensation limit set by the IRS, which is, again, for 2024, $345,000. They will not contribute any more of the non-elective contributions into the plan, so to speak. And just like it used to happen before, anything beyond these limits and anything beyond the limits that are set by the IRS, depending on the given year, it's going to go into the non-qualified deferred compensation plans, as they used to go into for the Southwest pilots. As you might know, Southwest Airlines, again, has a very sophisticated benefit package, and the part of the qualified plans that we call it are done either through Schwab or Empower, which is another company that is involved. And most of the profit sharing that you guys get actually goes to the Empower system, and it's actually held over there. It's actually separate from Schwab, where your 401k money is. Part of this contract is going to allow you, if you're past 59, the age of 59 and a half, is going to allow you to take the money from Empower and actually roll it into your Schwab 401k in an effort to be able to consolidate your money, which is highly beneficial, of course. There's no point in having your money spread out in different places where you can have it all in one place. So the contract is now allowing Southwest pilots to make once a year, once per calendar year, a one-time transfer from Empower over into Schwab, which helps you consolidate your funds and is much more beneficial in terms of management and potentially also for fees and all kinds of benefits to be able to consolidate. Now, if you are younger than 59 and a half years of age, you can only do this once. And then when you turn 59 and a half years and beyond, you can, again, do it once per calendar year. But in order to be able to do this, in order to participate in it, you have to have at least 5 years with the company. So the more junior pilots that have just been hired may not necessarily be eligible for these yet, but you have to have 5 years with the company. But it's a nice benefit to be able to consolidate as much as possible whenever you can. And of course, when you retire, we help you consolidate even more so into a much more effective and efficient platform, so that you can actually help monetize your investments and live off of them in the retirement. But for now, being able to consolidate, at least in a limited way, is highly beneficial. It's another nice part of the contract that you guys have just implemented. So all in all, The new contract that has just been ratified by the Southwest Pilots is a very sophisticated contract. It's very beneficial. It's much better than anything else that the Southwest Pilots have ever had. And it also brings you up to par with the other airlines, the other big airlines, the major airlines, as you should be. And everybody's kind of up to par in terms of pay and benefits. Everybody has their slight twist on how they get their benefits and how their contract is structured. But for the most part, everybody's getting roughly the same benefit. Just delivered in some a unique fashion depending on the contract, but it's highly beneficial. It's important to be able to take advantage of all the provisions in this contract. Obviously, we can't cover all the provisions in the contract in a video like this, but reach out to us and we can talk about it, and we can try to maximize your specific situation individually as it pertains to you and your family as to how to set up all these benefits and take advantage of everything that's available to you from a tax standpoint, from an investment standpoint. Try to cut fees wherever you can, and help you along to your career as you grow and as you get ready for retirement if you're not already there, and try to make the best of what's available. But congratulations, this is an amazing contract, lots of great benefits. You guys are at the top of the industry, and we certainly congratulate you. But thank you for listening. Appreciate your time. I hope it's been helpful. Feel free, again, like we said, call us at any point in time if you'd like to discuss your individual situation. But for now, have a great rest of your day, and we'll be talking to you soon.